Good morning, everybody. Sorry about running late. I'm having some technical difficulties. Should be good now. All right. So looking at our trade plan for today, if we hold above 80 to like 75, we're looking for 97, which is kind of already hit because of the pre-market news. We had that pre-market data come out with the average hourly earnings 0.2 or 0.3. Non-farm 147 over 111, so big beat there. Unemployment at 4.1 or 4.3, so very low on unemployment rate. 0.2% on unemployment rate is huge. That's one of those prints that even like 0.1% off is a big move. So 0.2% lower than expected. Unemployment claims 233 over 240. Trade balance negative 71.5 over negative 69.9. We do have more data coming out at 10 o'clock, so watch out for that. But overall, the markets are very bullish on that data. Already hitting that extension level. We have the dollar going up, the yields going up. Oil is down, Bitcoin is up, and gold is down 0.8%. Next target would be around that 6,300 range. We probably have to raise this target because it is being hit. So we'll say 6,308. And then we'll have to find another level there, which we don't really have. So we'll just put like 25 for now. Just a break above that zone. But we don't really have any levels up there. We have to take it kind of node by node. Holding below, let's say 76. We're going to look for 56 and 38. All right, take a look at NASDAQ here. Let's see. We need to update these levels. Above 834, we're looking for 935 and 23,000. 935 already hit. So we do have to adjust that a little bit. So we'll say 23,000, and the next level is 23,1. And then holding below, let's say 75. We're going to look for 32 and 617. By the way, both of them are P shapes with a bullish imbalance. As long as they don't hold below the value high of yesterday, we are good to continue higher. All right, very strong move out of the open here. I keep getting errors on Addis. What's going on here? What is going on here? Sorry guys, I keep getting errors on my ads, which are giving me like pop-ups and not letting me click anything. Some kind of error on my oil chart. Alright, let me just delete this chart for now. There's nothing special about this chart anyway. And hopefully that will fix it. Alright, sorry about that. I'm dealing with some technical difficulties over here. There's always something. Alright, there's the trade plan for you guys. I'm still getting errors. What is going on here? Alright guys, give me 1 second. Let me restart my Addis. Be careful trading right now. We do have data coming out at 9:45 and 10 a.m. Sorry guys, I know you can't see my screen. I'm just having some issues, unfortunately. Trying to fix some things. You gotta love computers, man. You don't do anything, you go to sleep, you wake up, and things are broken somehow. All right, I think we're good. No promises. We'll see. All right, sorry about that. If you guys are just coming in, here's our trade plan. We're looking for that extension into 6,300 to 6,315. Obviously pushing up because of the all the data that came out this morning that was obviously seen as very bullish. We're hitting that target zone on NASDAQ right now, so next zone will be around 100. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Patriot. Tachi, DS, Techie, Future, Roman, Perfect. C-Mac, Max. Good morning, Nitro, SK, Gregor's Backpack, and Curtis, James, Keegan. Fernando, Scott, Peter, Noob, Olive, SW, Andre, Jose. Good morning, James. He said, how do you get that solo TPO? It's just an indicator. Market profile and TPO indicator. Good morning, Ryder, Michael, Eugenio, hello, Boat. It's you, Angelo. Good morning, Joan, Luke's, Angelo, Trent, Tom, Sam, DJ, Monkey, and Roger. Good morning, everybody. Sorry about running late today, guys. I'm just running into so many issues. It's ridiculous. Computers can just never work the way you want them to. Yeah, the names are back to normal. I don't know what the heck was going on YouTube. That's another thing that I didn't mess with and that just randomly changed. All right, keep an eye on the 8 EMA on ES here, 24 EMA on NASDAQ. Sell-off on NASDAQ's a bit stronger. By the way, for you guys in Discord, if you guys are using the Athena bot, I pushed a pretty big update last night. So you might have to refresh it. I created training modules for pretty much every playbook video. And yeah. It should be working. No, it's not a data issue. It was an error with like some kind of weird indicator. It was like a OneDrive like error. It wasn't like a data thing. It's probably because my Addis is very out of date and I need to update it. I'll probably finally update it this weekend. Top field, that sucks, man. Yeah, mistakes happen. It's unfortunate. Good morning, Yusa, Arnie. Remember, today, guys, is a half day. The markets are closed at 1. Depending on how the market's going, we might just stream the entire day. We might stream until 1. But if it gets really slow, like holiday volume, nothing going on, we'll just close it down at the normal time. I mean, I've been normally closing stream around like 12 o'clock anyway, so it's like 1 more hour. But yeah, going back to Athena, if you guys are using the bot, if you ask it to like define any of my setups, like sweeps or rollover tops or the Momo stuff or the divergences, I've given it a training module for each one to basically in-depth explain those setups. It explains the targets, it explains the entries, it explains what you look for the entry, like the structure and whatnot. So it should give you basically a full rundown. It should even link the YouTube video as well. Took a winning trade, realized it was on sim. Yeah, so you're having the day that I'm having. We're all having problems today. Good thing it's a half day. Okay, a little bit of data coming out in a couple minutes here, and then we have more data at 10 o'clock. Putting in a very strong node on this high here needs to protect that node. You do not want to see a lot of sell pressure below 303 or like 300. Not exactly a rollover top here, but very similar structure where we have a weak high into a lower high. The lower high is happening pretty late. Typically with a rollover top, you want that to happen relatively right away. But we do have that lower high structure failing VWAP, so a lot of weakness there. Very different price action on ES. ES is just now putting in that weak high. So NASDAQ could be leading, but they are diverging quite a bit here. Yeah, SK, it sounds like everyone's having issues today. It's so funny. Just one of those days. What is it, Murphy's Law? Everything that could go wrong. Sorry, I forgot about the 945 data. Let me see here. 52.9 over 53.1. The larger data print is coming out at 10 o'clock. Right now, the bot's just in Discord because it's brand new. Eventually, I will definitely look to have it just on the channel. Yeah, right now it's just like in beta, so. The update I put out last night, I'm calling it like 0.2 because the first version was 0.1. So like 1.0 would be the version that I would want to put on the live stream. We're pretty far from there. I'm doing it the same way I always do my programs, my coding, whatever you call it. The Discord always gets the beta, and then when I'm ready to release it, I push it out to the stream. ADMA holding here. Trend is pretty stable. Just putting in higher lows here. We had that impulse starting pretty much right at the opening candle, putting in a nice higher low here around 6,300. That's where that node needs to be protected. Keep an eye on a potential lower high here for NASDAQ. Does look okay for now. Big spike in Delta here. Don't see a headline just yet. Couple of big bullish blocks, a lot of contracts there, over 2,000 contracts. And then NASDAQ, 800 contracts. That is a huge block on NQ. Best week you ever had. That's awesome, man. Good morning, Tom. Very difficult to trade at all-time highs. Yeah, the patterns are pretty different. Especially for volume profile traders, the patterns are very different. Because we don't have any prior volume profiles, like any prior value, which is what we build a lot of our trades off of, so it is a little bit harder. Yeah, I saw they pushed the bill signing back. I don't really know if that would be enough to cause those block trades. They might be, because it kind of pulls away from the risk of like how the market reacts to him making any statements. So taking Trump off the calendar kind of takes away a little bit of uncertainty, I guess. Be a little bit of a stretch. But that's like the only headline that came out. No, Paul, I'm just manually drawing boxes. I'm just manually drawing zones for you guys to keep an eye on. Yeah, you're asking the golden question, Luis. Why is the market not doing what it's quote-unquote supposed to be doing? Good luck answering that question. Good morning, OD. Trend is very stable. ES is leading NASDAQ. ADMA being protected damn near every single candle today. We've only had one push below the ADMA. It was instantly bought. Look at the open. The open shot up immediately. Yeah, it's a ridiculous 30-minute candle. I can't even fit it onto my screen. They're doing an okay job building up little micro nodes. Support node at 11, support node at 7, and then this node they're still fighting over at 13. This isn't exactly the vertical distribution that I talked about, but patterns like this, very common into all-time high. Vertical distributions, trends that just seem like they're just never ending, and you're like, what the hell, why is it going up? People like to buy at all-time high, people like to sell at all-time high. Like, they like to take profit, right? You have a lot of buyers from the, like you said, the FOMO people. The people they feel like they're missing out. And then you have the people that have been in forever that like to take profit. So it causes a little bit of pushback against the trend, right? Where you have that vertical distribution because of the take profits, but overall the buyers are clearly winning because you're at all-time high, right? You wouldn't be at all-time high if the buyers weren't winning. Yeah, Rin, I'm not selling the bot or anything. It's just in beta in the Discord until it's ready to be released on the stream. I've literally only been working on it for like a week. I don't want to release it to like the public when it's had a week of development. Yeah, here's that big data print coming out. We'll see if it halts this trend. All right, here's that data. We'll see how it came out. NASDAQ looking like it's the big buyer now. Was much weaker on the open. Now it's kind of taken over. Exactly to the point as expected, 50.8. So that is pretty good for this trend because there's no uncertainty there. Pretty big block of bearish, a big cluster of bearish delta there being absorbed. Factory orders 8.2, almost exactly as expected as well. So this data is it's not a big worry for these people that are buying up here. Not really threatening them at all. Just a very stable trend right now. Not really seeing any signs of weakness. This last little buy is not getting a ton of delta. That's like one small sign. But that delta is kind of being skewed because of this bearish absorption here. So it looks like there's not that much bullish delta just because there's a ton of bearish delta there. I mean, it's hard to trade against things like this when it opens up and then it just instantly shoots up. We're basically already hitting our trade plan targets, so let's go ahead and find some extension targets here. So our original target was 97, and then we had this zone right here. They're both already being taken out. So now we have to find some extension levels, which there's not really a great place to grab extensions from. If I had to, I would grab this most recent impulse here. We're already hitting our first target zone. So our next target zone would be, what is that, 34 to like 41. And then we have somewhere around the like 65 area. So we have some room to climb here. 35 to 40, and then around 65. Let's do the same thing on NASDAQ. So that target has been taken out. That's been taken out. Let's grab our fib here. This one's a lot easier on NASDAQ because this impulse is very obvious. So you could take it where the impulse kind of stalled out, which is right here. Or if you wanted to extend it a bit more, you could take it to that high there. I don't like creating that much of a gap between my levels. So I'm going to grab where it started to stall out, where it started to find sell pressure, which is right there. So first target is already hit. Second target, funny enough, is pretty much already the same level we were watching. Let's just update this to make it a more recent level. So we'll leave it there. And then we'll go ahead and mark out this fib level up here, just kind of more of a zone, just somewhere in that general idea. It's all-time high, right? These levels are zones. We don't have any exact levels. You just got to think about everything as a zone. Nothing is perfect up here. You could also take that tail extension, which I think I already did that level earlier. Yeah, that level's already been hit. So tail extension from yesterday already been achieved. So now we're looking for these fib extension levels around 125 and 275. And there you go. You guys just got a little crash course on how I find levels on all-time high. That's pretty much it. It's either tail extensions or fib extensions. That's pretty much all I use. There's no exact science when you're looking at all-time high levels. Tail extension is a volume profile term where you have a very imbalanced profile, like one side has a long tail, the other side doesn't. So you take the exact size of the long tail, and then you draw it out to the other side and say, okay, if the tails were matching, about where would that be? So for example, if you have a 10-point tail on the low, but you have a 0-point tail on the high, then you can take it to the high and say, okay, if we want to extend the tail, it has to go up 10 points. Not an exact science, like I said, but it works pretty damn well. It works all right. It's better than just not targeting anything. Yeah, divergence on delta, you have to be very careful watching into all-time highs. It's the same thing I say when you're trying to watch delta divergence during a vertical distribution. There is so much selling going on because of people taking profit that it causes the delta to show that divergence, but it's not actually bearish. You're going to see that damn near every single day that you are pushing into all-time high. And you are going to continue to push into all-time high and ignore the divergence. So you got to be careful. A great way to look at it is people are familiar with RSI, right? Like RSI, probably one of the most common indicators that people use. And what do they always say? They always say, like, oh, it's overbought, it's oversold. But what happens when it's overbought? It still goes up for hours, right? Sometimes it goes up the entire day and it's overbought, quote unquote, right? It's kind of the same idea where price is going up and it's quote unquote overbought and delta is slowly coming down. It's the same thing I say about the Momo, right? The Momo's actually doing it right now. The Momo can show you a gold shading, which is kind of my version of overbought. But it can show you that for a long time. And it can continue to go up. So here's an example. So when it shades the top, when the Momo shades the top, either gold or red, I call that finding a top, finding a high. It means price is kind of in price discovery. It's looking for a high. It's looking for value. So just because it's showing a gold doesn't mean that it's going to top there. It just means that it's getting a little bit extended and you probably need to cool off a little bit, like maybe consolidate, maybe pull back. But it doesn't mean like the trend is going to completely flip. It's the same thing with like reading overbought on an RSI. A great example is I used to use CCI all the time on stream. CCI is an indicator that's very similar to RSI. And people heavily misuse CCI. And they use it kind of like RSI, where it's like, if it's above 100, it's overbought and needs to come down. If it's below negative 100, same thing. But what CCI is really good at is kind of the opposite. It's almost giving you a buy signal when it's going over 100. And then it's giving you a sell signal when it's coming back, when it's re-losing 100, when it has that kind of curling pattern we always like to see. So yeah, people just kind of misinterpret what overbought and oversold is. It's like a strategy that I think like almost every single trader goes through when they first start trading. They try that RSI overbought, oversold shit. And they try to reversal trade every single time that RSI is overbought. They try to sell, and then every time it's oversold, they try to buy. And they get completely run over because it becomes like a knife catch, right? Here's a great example of what I was just saying. So here's the 1 minute on the Momo. So we have that purple shading, or sorry, not purple, gold shading. And it starts to cool off. The momentum cools off a little bit. It pulls back very slightly. This creates a trap. These sellers are trapped. And then it goes right back up. And then it hits that gold, and it cools off again. And these sellers are trapped. If there's even sellers, these are probably profit takers. And then it goes back up. And then you rinse and repeat, right? It gets overextended, it cools off. Overextended, cools off. It's just how the market moves, right? The market's not just going to go straight up. It's not how markets work. There has to be cool-off periods. Good morning, Blood. POC already shifting to the high. Major node on the high here at 18. Just continuing to put in higher lows here. Yeah, there's a million different ways to analyze that exact concept that I just talked about. It's pretty much what every single oscillator does. Almost every single oscillator is designed for that exact scenario, determining when price needs to cool off. There's always a cool off, right? The markets don't just go in one direction. If they go in one direction the entire day, then maybe tomorrow it's going to cool off, but it's going to cool off. It's another major problem that people have in their trading is every single time they take a trend trade, they think that it's going to be this massive trend that just never ends. They look at today and they think that every single trade is going to look like this. We have absolutely no sustained sell pressure today. If it can hold up below this upper node, you can probably come back to that lower node around 12, but be careful. This is a very bullish day. This candle is pretty dangerous. This is the most dangerous candle so far today. I say it's dangerous because there's basically no volume below that upper node. These candles, if they lost one node, there's like 7 other nodes to protect it. But this one, there's like nothing protecting you. So you got to be a little careful on that one. Well, you tell me, is it a rollover top or not? And I'm going to ask our bot. Let's see if the bot thinks so. So my bot gave pretty much the exact answer that I was going to give. So here is the answer. It says it's a potential rollover top. There's no rollover top here, but because price has pushed up and is stalling, you can look for that potential rollover top if it pulls back and then puts in like a lower high. It's not a rollover top, but it's a potential, right? Because the price is starting to stall, you can look for it. But it's not a rollover top to the point where you would actually press the sell button. When I tell you guys this is a rollover in momentum, but it's not a rollover top, this is what I mean right here. You are rolling over in momentum. You are not a rollover top setup. And you can see on the momentum what I mean here. The momentum's getting lower and lower. It's kind of losing steam as it's pushing up. Which, like I said, is just the natural movement of the market. It's going to continuously lose momentum as it's rising. Until it finally hits a point where it can't continue. They're trying to lose this upper node, but they're simultaneously trying to protect that prior 30-minute candle. $24 EMA being protected here. Yeah, the final sentence by the bot is exactly what I just said. It says the setup leans bearish short term, but the lack of high volume breakdown or confirmation through VWAP means it's only potential, it's not actionable. And that's a good way to say it. Potential, not actionable. SK, I would watch my most recent rollover top video. It is a literal perfect, absolutely textbook rollover top example. And pretty much every single rollover top is traded the way that I talk about in that video. Probably the cleanest example we've seen in probably the entire year, to be honest. We're holding on to that 24 EMA to the literal tick. So our trend is continuing here. Potential higher low being established right here. You can see it just keeps doing the same thing. Breakout, little doji, breakout, little doji, breakout, little doji. Yeah, SK, if you watch the video, like I said, that's an exact example of how we trade it. There's no anticipating that goes on a rollover top. It's a very logical pattern. There's no predicting that happens. Predicting a rollover top loses you a lot of money. I mean, right now we're looking at a clear reason why. Like if you randomly shorted this buy here, predicting a rollover top, you literally instantly lost your trade. Little bit of absorption on the buy here. Buyers at 19 to 20 being absorbed. Yeah, there is a sweep of this high here forming on the lower time frames. There is no sweep on the 30-minute. Possibly a sweep on the 5-minute. Well, the absorption is still forming, so it's like another potential pattern. Because you have a big cluster of bullish delta, but it's not pushing away from it. So if it continues to sit here or go lower, then you can say that they're being absorbed. I never said you were a bot, SK. Pullbacks are pullbacks until they're not. Yeah, exactly. No, SK, I think you're misreading. If you're referring to Tom, he's talking about my bot. He's talking about the Athena bot, not you. Hey, James, I appreciate the €2, man. I'm glad you enjoy the stream. Is it not euros? It says euros on my end. Oh, you're right. It is a pound. My bad. Yeah, I quickly looked at it. It looked like an E. I'm just a dumb American, man. We speak in dollars. What's the euro symbol? I swear it's so similar. Euro symbol. Pound symbol. That's like the same exact symbol. You guys like copied each other's homework. It's literally the same. You guys have a curly E, they have a regular E. Somebody donate in euros. I bet it looks the same on YouTube. It's definitely not because I want money. We want to see the difference. The euro came after the pound? Yeah. Keep an eye on the upper node here. If they start holding below 17, it's looking weak. Plastic Canadian money. Hey, Christopher, I appreciate it, man. I'm glad the stream helps. You can see the absorption on the 1 minute here. Look at how flat the top is there. There's almost like a hidden wall. I wouldn't exactly call it a wall because you're trading above it. But look at that on the 1 minute. That's about 8 minutes all putting in the same high. Do I trade Bitcoin? Only long term. I trade crypto long term now. I don't scalp it anymore. Morning, Faraj. Starting to break that flat top now. See if we can get above this absorption here. One easy way to see that we're weakening is look at all the levels I marked out, all these prior lows. Notice how they're getting closer and closer. Like they're getting closer together because we're not pushing out of them as much. Yeah, you could possibly have like one single print forming. We'll see where it closes. See what Athena thinks about this flat top here. It's a pretty weird pattern. Created one single print down to 17. Kind of a weird single print because it's right on the POC. Typically they are LVNs. So her summary is it's a girl's name, it's a bot, obviously. Neutral to bullish, price structure supports upside, but momentum is lukewarm, need confirmation before acting. Treat the current zone as a coiling for the next leg, either a breakout continuation or a trap reversal. So yeah, pretty much spot on. It's a waiting period. It's what I would call a do not care zone. Yeah, the data was pretty good today. So we had a double data print that were both very good. We had the unemployment rate at 4.1 over 4.3, down 0.2. And the what was it? It was the non-farm. Non-farm 147 over 111. That's a big beat. Non-farm typically moves with the market. So like if non-farm beats by a lot, it goes up. If non-farm misses by a lot, it goes down. Now it's hard to predict stuff like that right now because the dollar correlation is just like non-existent. The macros are just not really correlated right now. If you're talking about the data, Anthony, it's forexfactory.com. That's where I get the data from, the economic data. And then for like headlines, I just have a Twitter feed. Yeah, Tom, it's just a custom chat GPT that I'm coding its memory database. So it's not entirely mine. I didn't like code the actual chat program. I'm just coding the memory database. If you're in Discord, just go to the Athena channel. You can check it out. Momentum is basically completely lost at this point. Keep an eye on the single print to be filled in. If we stay below this upper node, staying below like 17, that could be a trapped P shape forming. Yeah, Christopher, that's cool, man. I didn't think about that. Yeah. As long as you keep like the same chat open, it will remember all of those trades, so that's a good way to use it. You could also just give it a file if you want, if it's easier. If you want to log them in like a CSV file or something like that. I mean, even like a text file. And you could just give it a file and it would scan it all. Putting in a poor high here. Let's see if Athena can catch this poor high. The bot still struggles with market profile unless I cheat a little bit. If I specifically ask it to find a poor high, it will find it. You just have to be very specific to the point. You know what it might be? It's because I need to fix its database. I think it's because I have it coded as a setup. So if I don't specifically tell it to scan for setups or look for setups or something like that, it doesn't have it in its lingo. So I need to add it to like its lingo as well. Rolling over in momentum quite a bit here. Momentum has now lost the high on the Momo, coming down quite a bit on the short term, still holding the trail for now. So it's not completely done. If it loses 17, it gets a lot worse. Single print has been filled in. Yeah, it's still running into the issue where I have to specifically ask if there's a poor high or a poor low. Still finds it, so that's good. All right, 24 EMA holding here. So as long as they protect that P-shaped node there at 17, basically think about this how we would treat a P-shaped profile on the full session. It needs to protect the value low. If you lose the value low, you start to nuke that lower tail. But as long as that value low is protected, you're looking for that tail extension to the upside. And right now they're protecting where that value low would be pretty much to the tick. What do you mean, James? Do you mean like the level 2 data? I don't use level 2 data, if that's what you're asking. M2, it's not exactly footprint, but like volume profile, market profile. I would recommend Dalton's books. His Mind Over Market book and Markets and Profile books are really good. His newest book, I haven't finished yet, so I can't really say anything, but when I skimmed through it, it's not as technical. It's more like psychological. So if you want more of the technical, the Mind Over Markets book is a lot more technical. I'm sure there's many other volume profile books as well. Yeah, Christopher, that's just known as a bracket. Most platforms allow you to put in brackets. So when you take a trade, you instantly have your stop, you instantly have your target. Unfortunately, some platforms do not allow you to use brackets for some reason. Their systems just can't handle it. I think you guys were complaining yesterday about the Top Step platform not allowing you to do brackets. And then Trade-Evade doesn't let you do brackets if you're copy trading, but you can do brackets on everything else. Yeah, Alex, it's already highlighting single prints, which that does help. I don't think Addis can highlight pour levels. I don't think it does that. I mean, it's literally the difference between typing just like analyze and then saying look for XYZ. Like if you just type it out, it will find it. You don't have to cheat and tell it that it's there. You just have to ask for it. Like if you give it a market profile chart, don't just say analyze. Say, is there a pour high or pour low? And you can say, are there any single prints? And it will give you the correct answer. Well, at least 9 out of 10 times that I've tried it. You can't just say, like, check this chart or something like that. It's not going to find it. I'm trying to fix that, though. Like I said, I think it's just where I have it located in its memory file. It's located as a setup, I believe, instead of as a, just as like a lingo. There's nothing really to talk about today, guys. This is just an extremely stable trend. You're just watching the EMAs. You're watching those higher lows. We have another one here. So I'm just marking out these higher lows as we're going up. And if you're trailing this, you're basically just trailing these lows. You're trailing the 24, trailing the lows, and you're just letting it go. There hasn't been like any short signals today. Like I said, you have to ignore bear divs on days like this because you're going to get bear divs into all-time highs like this. And if you were trying to sell the bear divs all day, you lost pretty much every single trade. Unless you were like absolutely micro scalping, you lost every single time. I mean, if you were selling today, you lost every single trade. I mean, you might have gotten lucky and gotten a couple of points, but keep an eye on NASDAQ. It might drag ES down here. Much weaker on NQ. I wouldn't really call this a rollover top because it's very flat. But it's pretty damn close. Pretty damn close to a rollover top. Pretty much just a flat distribution, though. The biggest thing about a rollover top, which I talked about the other day, is the reason the pattern is so good is because it's not only its own pattern, it's typically confirming a sweep. So that weak high, that middle high of the rollover is very important that it goes for that potential push up, that failed breakout, because then it creates a sweep. So if you don't take the sweep trade, you can take the rollover top trade. So it's kind of like a late entry for another setup. It's why it works so well. It's like a new thing that they're doing, Chris, on YouTube chat. I don't really know what it is. It's called fans. Like it says you're a top fan. I don't know what it's based on though. It might be based on like how many times you've typed in chat. I'm not sure. All right, here's our 25 target. Then we have an extension target at 35, 40, and 65. Good morning, Trevor. I saw you pulled your message back, but I saw what you asked. You were asking about like prop firms or something. You were saying like explain prop firms. They're basically just, think of it as like a paper trading account, but it's a step further. So it's like a simulator, but you can make real money doing it. It's a real money simulator. It's kind of an oxymoron, but that's pretty much what a prop firm is. The online prop firms nowadays are not like the OG prop firms, where the OG prop firms were basically, you were trading real money. It was just not your money. It was somebody else's money. It was the firms, right? But the online prop firms nowadays, they're pretty much just simulators that pay you money. There is very little downside risk because even if you lose the account, you're just losing the monthly fee. You're losing your monthly fee, you're losing your profits. There's no going into the like drawdown, right? You're never going to owe more money than you had already earned. Which is why I highly recommend them. Oh, is my internet going down? My YouTube just crashed. 1 second, guys. I don't know if my stream is still up. Stream is still good. Sorry, my YouTube crashed for a second. I use Apex and I use Tradeovate's Copy Trader to answer both of your questions. Christopher, if you posted a link, the YouTube chat does not allow links. For obvious security reasons. Which book are you guys talking about? They're probably talking about the Dalton book, Mind Over Markets, or Markets and Profile. Yeah, haha. We recommend Apex. Obviously, I have a partnership with Apex. The code is at the bottom. I believe they're still doing 80% off. The other like top dog in the business besides Apex is Top Step. I've seen you guys in chat. You guys keep saying they're pushing a lot of rules that you guys don't like, so they might be pissing people off recently. Yeah, those are the two top dogs. If you're going with Top Step or Apex, you're usually you're good to go. You're fine. If it's another prop firm, just do your research.
because a lot of prop firms are like brand new, they're kind of scammy. But if you're going with a prop firm that's been around for like at least a year or two, they're usually okay. I'm not looking for shorts at all. This is not a day to short. You are holding longs and you're looking for pullback longs. That's pretty much it. That's why I'm only marking out these lows. I've been doing this the entire session. Because these are all the reversal points that happened on the way up. And that's where you could have entered longs there, or you could have just trailed your stops. You're trailing your stops as it's going up. And that's pretty much all you're doing the entire day. Yeah, I haven't heard of them, Gunk. So what Top Step is doing recently that people don't like is they're basically creating all of their stuff in-house. So they want you to use their in-house platform, which is called like Top Step X, I believe it is. So they're going to take away the accounts from, you can't sign up for the other platforms moving forward. I think starting like next week or something like that. And people don't like that. There's also a couple of other changes you guys were complaining about the other week. I can't remember what they were. Yeah, SK, I think that's the end goal for everybody. The end goal is to have like a bunch of copy traded accounts, but I wouldn't say that's somewhere that people are, you're not starting with 20 accounts. I think most people are starting with maybe 1 to like 3 accounts. Like if they want to start copy trading, they're copy trading a couple. You're not going crazy with like 5, 10, 20 accounts. Little bit of absorption on the high here at 60, sorry, not 60, 24 to 25. No more new accounts after next week on other platforms, but Top Step X, gotcha. Hey, Mohammed, no problem, man. Keep an eye on NASDAQ here. If NASDAQ goes for a liquidation sell back to VWAP, you're going to drag ES down. NASDAQ is pretty much a clear rollover, not a rollover top, just like a rollover in momentum. Very clearly losing steam here. Went from a very strong uptrend to a flat top into lower highs. So more of just a market structure shift with the lower highs. You could call it a rollover top if you like very extended rollover tops. As I talk about in the video, it should be like a ABC right away, like boom, 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 3 highs back to back. It shouldn't be very elongated like this. That's more of just like a standard rollover. I think the issue people were talking about with Top Step X is you can't do, is it brackets you guys were talking about? You can't do brackets on there? The relationship between ES and NASDAQ, they're like 9 out of 10 times. the exact same thing. They're pretty much going to follow the same trade plan 9 out of 10 days. Some days, like we saw, was it 2 days ago? What's today? Today's Thursday? It was Tuesday, I think it was. One of these days this week, they were doing completely different things. Their market structure was entirely different. So you just want to keep an eye on their market structure. Are their higher highs the same? Are there higher lows, lower lows, all that stuff? Is it the same? If it's not the same, you need to pay very close attention to which one is leading. Is ES breaking out and then NASDAQ is following, or vice versa, right? But yeah, 9 out of 10 times you don't really have to think about it. They're just going to do the exact same thing. When they start diverging, it's because the sectors are diverging. What we saw on Tuesday, I think that was the day, there was a heavy sell-off in tech, and price was moving, money was moving into the blue chips, the safer companies. It was a value rotation. It was happening at the end of the quarter, so possibly some kind of rebalancing going on. But there was a heavy rebalancing from tech to safer value. And that's why NASDAQ was nuking so hard compared to ES, because ES has more of those value companies in its valuation. And then as far as they trade, ES is a lot, quote unquote, safer. It's a lot slower, a lot more patient. NASDAQ is way more volatile, but it's a lot faster. So if you like trading faster price action, you would like NASDAQ more. No, I don't look at current candles like value levels exactly, just more so nodes. I only look at value levels on the higher time frames. This level that I marked out earlier is the bottom of that node, which got tested to the tick and then bounced. No, Trent. Copy trading on Tradeovate, I think at most I've seen like 1 tick of slippage. Maybe 2 ticks at the most. The copy trading on Tradeovate is damn near instant. It's just all about when you're trading. If you're trading during like a news announcement, you're just asking for slippage. And that's something that I constantly preach about on this channel is people, and I'm not saying this is you, I'm just saying in general. People love to blame the market. They love to blame something else but themselves. They complain about their data connection when it comes to slippage. And they're trying to take copy trades on 10 accounts on FOMC. And they're getting slippage and they're crying about it. It's like, come on, man. You're grabbing a hot pan and crying that it's hot. Crying that it burned you. No, I think when you're being reasonable, when you're being responsible, is the word I was looking for. There is basically no slippage. I've gotten maybe 1 to 2 ticks of slippage, rarely. That's not a common thing, that's rare. Very different market structures here. Keep an eye on ES. If it continues to break this 25 high, you might be leading. It might try to lead NASDAQ up here. No, Muhammad, that's the exact opposite of what I do here. I don't talk a lot about my personal side of trading. Every now and then, I've done it very little recently. I used to do it a lot more. I would show like trade examples and go over stuff like that, go over my average trade time, all that. But I'm just slowly more and more getting away from that. And I'm kind of at the point now where I just don't even really talk about it. I've been streaming for a very long time. I've been talking about my trading, streaming my trading since 2017 to 2018. And in the beginning, I knew because I was a newer person on the internet, a newer streamer. I had a lot more stuff to prove. Over the years, I feel like I've proven myself time and time again. So as the years go on, I try to prove myself less and less. Like I don't show you guys really anything anymore. I've been doing this for far too long to constantly have to defend myself every single stream. But I completely, at the same time, I understand that as the channel grows, I have new people coming to the stream. They don't know that. They haven't seen years of my content. So they're always looking for that stuff. But the problem is, as the stream grows, I would have to do that every single day. And I'm just tired of it. I'm just not doing it anymore. What I tell people is if they need to see stuff like that, then just watch somebody else. It's that simple. Yeah, that's the exact thing, James. That's kind of what I talk about. Is like if you're one of those streamers that is constantly talking about P&L and constantly talking about this is a lifestyle and trying to get people into it and talking about how much money you can make and change your life and all that stuff, I feel like you have the obligation to show all that stuff because you're actively pushing it. I'm the complete opposite. I've told you guys many times that this is not a fun lifestyle. This is not an easy lifestyle. Trading is extremely stressful. I do not recommend this for most people. I would never tell you guys to just all quit your jobs and start trading full time. It's not for everybody. Okay, possibly a rollover top here. Once again, we're not seeing that perfect pattern today. It's more so just a rollover in momentum. The key part, I was talking about this earlier, the key part of the rollover top that you need to see is that middle high. You want that middle high to go for a break and then fail. Because when you put in that lower high, it's confirming that that sweep is in play. It's confirming that that breakout has failed. If you don't have that key breakout, the rollover top is weak. So right here, if you said this is a rollover top, I wouldn't really argue with you. You are kind of right. Like the pattern is there. I would just say that it's not a very good one. Once again, that middle high is important. Very, very important. You want them to already go for that liquidity grab. You want them to go for that breakout. So when you take that lower high trade, they're not going to go for that breakout. If they go for the breakout on your rollover top trade, that third point trade, because if you think about it, it's like ABC, right? The first move up is A, the middle high is B, the third high is C. When you take that trade on C, if you didn't go for the breakout on B, they're gonna go for the breakout on C, exactly what we're seeing as I'm explaining it, and you're gonna lose that trade. Sorry, it took me so long to explain that you literally saw it happen as I was explaining it. And exactly that, Scott. As I've done this for years and years, people posting their profits in Discord, people sending me their certificates, sending me their screenshots, telling me that the stream is helping them and they're now doing better in their trading. That is my proof, right? I'm allowing you guys to be my proof instead of me just proving it every single day. That's why I don't do any marketing, right? There's no marketing on this channel. There's no marketing for my Discord. The biggest form of marketing on my Discord is people telling their friends about my Discord. Most people that I ask, like, hey, where'd you find the Discord, or how'd you hear about us? They just say, oh, my friend's in your Discord, and they love what you do. And that is literally the best form of marketing, is word of mouth. Like I said, I've got nothing to prove. I've been doing this for far too long. Over 10 years, Anthony. I think now it's coming up on like 11, 12. If you don't count like my simulator trading in the beginning, all my paper trading, all that stuff, it's closer to 10 years. Trading's the hardest thing I've ever done, for sure. And that's for most people. That's the crazy thing about trading is you have people that are like insanely intelligent. Like PhD level. They are the masters of their fields. They come to trading, they get completely obliterated. And then unfortunately, you have the other side of it where you have like the monkey see, monkey do type of trader that has no idea what they're doing. But they catch these like massive trades, maybe on crypto, maybe on GameStop, like these meme plays, right? Or crazy options plays or whatever. So trading has just a wide variety of what type of person is successful, right? Haha, normally I recommend starting with my how to trade playlist if you're very new to trading. Like if you don't understand basic concepts, the how to trade playlist is more basic stuff. Then you can move on to like the volume profile playlist. That's obviously more volume profile related stuff. Then you can go to the order flow playlist, which is more what you're looking at right now on my screens. But you have to kind of understand volume profile before doing the order flow stuff, or it won't make sense. If you're looking for just specific setups, I would recommend watching my playbook playlist or my shorts, my YouTube shorts, which I do want to get back into making shorts. Right now, I'm just swamped with the Athena bot. Hey, Scott, I really appreciate the $10, man. I'm glad you enjoy the stream and you it provides you enough value for you to donate. I appreciate that, man. I honestly forgot there was even a donation button on my stream. I don't even know where you guys are finding that. Okay, so whoever asked about the difference between ES and NASDAQ earlier, this is what you want to look for. So the market structures were different on ES and NQ. And then I said earlier that you want to, if they're different, you want to figure out which one's leading. It looks like ES is leading because ES broke that high and now NASDAQ is trying to follow. It's slowly following, trying to push up. Well, that's okay. You kind of defined a windfall trade. Yeah. If you're windfall trading, they are going to deny you for windfall trading. A windfall trade can be many different things. It can be like you sized up and then won a massive trade. It could be you took like a news trade and it just exploded. It could be you took a normal trade, but then it turned into a massive trade. So like if it turned into like today, like let's say you bought the open today and you've been holding ever since. This is going to be a hard one for your prop accounts because this is like a 30-point trade. So your other trades during this payout period, you will have to kind of average them out. Which is why I always recommend like taking multiple profits, right? Now, sometimes it is going to stop you from making more money, but that's in hindsight. You just got to keep track of the 30% rule, yep. You don't get it. Why is the middle high not a very good one? Well, look at it. Where was it? It was what were we looking at? It was I think it was this one, right? Was it this one? You're only breaking that high by literally one tick. So what are you sweeping? You're like not grabbing any liquidity. You're not really sweeping anything. It's quite literally a single tick failure. So you're not doing really anything. It's just like a very, very small break. As I talk about in the rollover top video, that break needs to be a breakout that fails. There's no real breakout here. You broke by one single tick. The easiest way to explain it is you have to imagine if you're a breakout trader, you need the breakout to be good enough to where you would have taken that trade. Because that's the exact trader you want to get trapped. I know it's kind of a mean thing to say, but that's why the rollover top works, is because those breakout traders took the wrong trade and they are being trapped and squeezed out. And them getting trapped is making you money. If there's nobody trapped there, there's nobody to make you money. Yeah, C-Mac, no worries, man. Yeah, it's all about the reason the trade is working. And the rollover top works because people are trapped. If there's nobody trapped, the trade doesn't work. Can you guys believe that we were at 4,800? We were at 4,800 in April. Absolutely ridiculous. We are up 30% since April. And you guys are seeing the exact reason why I do not allow that like fear-mongering, constant negativity mindset in this channel. People were like panicking like it was the end of the world back in April, and we're literally all-time high again. And it will happen again. It will literally happen again. The next time we go down like 10, 15%, people are going to be crying about it being the end of the world again. And then you give it 6 months and it's going to be all-time high again. The people like that are always betting on the one time it's different, right? They want to make their careers off the one time it's actually going to go down. No, not my sub count, no. No, I don't gain that many subs. We did break 20K recently. Which, by the way, guys, I kept forgetting to remind you guys. I usually remind you for a whole week to send me your receipts for June for the Apex raffle. I completely forgot to remind you guys, so I'm going to extend it by a week. So I'm going to pull that raffle next Friday. I'm going to give you the whole week next week to send me those raffle tickets. Or sorry, send me the receipts so I can turn them into raffle tickets. But yeah, I normally remind you guys every day for a week. Completely forgot. So I'll give you guys another week to do that. If you guys used my code for Apex, the brew code, or the really old code, the LNVG PAFP one, and you bought any new accounts in June, make sure, don't send me July. Hold on to July. If you bought anything in June, send me those receipts on my email. Here's my email. I don't think I have the, do I have the banner? Let me see. There's my email. I think I have the old banner. Yeah, here it is. So this is what we do every month for our raffle. You get 1 ticket per 50K account size. So if it's 100K, 2 tickets, so on and so forth. I give away Discord access and cash prizes. For the cash prize, you just need to have a PayPal account. So we do that every single month. If you guys bought anything in June, just go ahead and send those over to my email. Like I said, do not send July. Just send June. And I will get that I'll get that pulled next week. I'll give you guys a whole week to send that. I don't add my contact email to the videos because then you just get spammed with bots. I believe it is on my YouTube page somewhere. But yeah, I don't add it to all the videos because that just gets spammed. And yeah, same thing for people who participate in the those couple of videos that I put out for the giveaway for 20K. It's gonna be the same giveaway. I'm gonna pull it at the same time. You don't really have a very obvious high or low here, but there's one like right here, little doji there. Yeah, Ren, the Discord link is always in the description. I've heard that's one thing I forgot to do today. I forgot to put up the poll, which tells you guys all that. Not much to talk about today, guys. We're literally just trending up the entire day. And sorry if you guys have emailed me the last couple of days for like the indicator access. I've been very behind on emails. I've been spending like every hour working on that damn bot. Okay, finally getting some sell pressure here. Let's see if it actually stays below the 24. We have not traded and held below the 24 the entire day. Good morning, Shane. I stream in Discord the entire day. The morning stream typically ends at 11:30 to 12. I've been streaming a little bit longer recently. Been streaming till like 12 recently. Today the market ends at 1. I haven't decided yet if we're going to keep streaming until 1. If it slows down a lot, then we're probably just going to call it. Oh, Chain, I was just saying that I forgot to remind people, so I'm going to be doing the giveaway next week. I usually remind people like every day for a week, and I just completely forgot. I think I reminded you guys like once. So I'm going to give people another week to send their receipts, and then I'm going to pull it on Friday. Not this Friday, next Friday. Yeah, market's done at 1 o'clock, so we're damn near power hour. No, Chris, you're good. If you guys already sent them, you guys are good. There's a little bit of absorption on the high there, a little over 1,000 contracts. Yeah, Tom, there is a rollover bottom. It's just not as good. So you don't hear me talk about it as much. Pretty much the exact same pattern, just flip it. Think about a sweep turning into a higher low. Not really seeing the holiday volume today. Yesterday was pretty bad. Our volume was abysmal in the afternoon. It's starting to slow down a bit. It's not terrible. I mean, you can see it got cut in half immediately. And then almost cut in half again, but holding up here. Down about 10K, down about 10K again. Turning into a 30-minute sweep here. Once you start getting below like 30K on the 30-minute, which is like 1K a minute, you're getting pretty low. Is this going to be the first major retest of a prior low? Pretty much every single prior low that we marked out today did not get retested. And we marked out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. This might be the first retest. We'll see. So the bot is actually calling this a rollover top, and what it's looking at is this right here. It's calling that a lower high for the rollover top, which I can see that. If you wanted to argue that, you could argue it. For a rollover top, I would want it to be a little bit more clear. Probably just a little bit higher. If it went to like 27, it would have been better. This is more of a failure of the 24 EMA. Big spike in block trades there. 375 contracts on NQ. Only a couple hundred on ES. Yeah, Unleashed, I need the number and the account size. And, like, obviously the date. Like, whatever the date you bought it. And if you guys have multiple accounts, try to put them all in the same email. Makes it a lot harder if you give me multiple. And then basically what I do is I just put them all together. I pick random winners. I typically pick like anywhere from like 2 to 4 winners. And then I basically just let you guys know, hey, you won. Would you want the cash prize? Do you want the Discord prize? Tom, it's the same raffle I do every month. I'm talking about the Apex one. Yeah, Chain, as long as I can see like the number, the date, and the account size. Those are the 3 things I need. Failing the 24 EMA here. This is the first time today, the entire day, that we have lost the 24, back tested it, and failed it. I don't do paid accounts, Tom. It's only the evaluations. I can't see paid accounts on my end. I don't get anything from paid accounts, so they don't pop up on my end. Yeah, SK for evals, not on paid accounts. Okay, like I said, this is the first prior low. Like I said, we marked out all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. First prior low that is being retested the entire day. So if the responsive buyers are still here, they should be protecting that low. So there are the responsive buyers we talked about, that prior low being protected. That was the first real attempt for the sellers all day, and they instantly failed. And I'm not doing anything fancy with these zones, guys. These are literally just like lows before we broke the prior high. So you put in a low, you broke the prior high. You put in a low, you broke the prior high. Same thing here. Same thing here. Same thing there. Same thing there. And it bounced out of that pretty much instantly. It's up 5 points already. You mean on NASDAQ? There's no yesterday's value on ES up here. Not on NASDAQ either. I'm not sure what you're looking at. What a break on NASDAQ. So we were talking about yesterday how this looked like a 30-minute bulldog. It didn't really give you the head. The head you typically want it to pull back. It gave you almost like a vertical distribution head here. But there's the breakout. So pretty close. On ES, there's no prior day's nodes up here, unless you're talking about like the prior candle. This is pretty much all-time high, isn't it? Look at how good the liquidity is. We have like no level 2 orders coming in, and the only ones that are coming in are large. They're like block trades. Fantastic liquidity, especially into all-time high. Little snapshot of the day. The yields are up 1.7 on the 10-year. About a 0.25% on the dollar. Dollar to yen's up about 1%. Oil's down about 0.4. Bitcoin up about 0.5. And gold down about 0.5. Oh, the overnight? Yeah, the overnight's kind of yesterday. I mean, it depends on what you're looking at. Like the overnight goes into yesterday. We started out as like a micro pullback where you had a micro pullback just above the prior day's value. You attempted to sell back into the prior day's value multiple times. You failed multiple times. And then we just absolutely nuked the overnight traders, the sellers. Do I ever look at VIX? Not really anymore. I used to watch it around COVID, but since COVID, it kind of broke. I don't watch too many correlations right now. The correlations don't seem to be working as well as they used to. The market's just kind of doing its own thing. The dollar correlation doesn't work as well as it used to. The yield correlation, the VIX correlation. SK, I don't really talk about stuff like that, but that's highly unreasonable. Pretty much nobody is going to get a 100K payout on any of those accounts. AI broke everything, yeah. Yeah, I think once the rate cuts started happening and it didn't have a direct impact on the bond market, everyone was like, what the hell is going on? Like it broke all the correlations. They put out a bunch of reports. I haven't seen them recently. But over the last couple of months, they put out a bunch of reports like talking about this topic, like the correlations, the bond market, the yield market, the dollar market. And it's the worst the correlations have pretty much ever been. They are just completely broken. SK, once again, it's completely unreasonable for most people. 99.9%, it's probably like 99.99% of people are not going to see a 100K payout on any of those accounts. One of the biggest reasons why I don't talk about money stuff on this channel is if you're in trading and you're constantly thinking about the money, the dollar signs, you're going to fail. It's a sad truth, but it is true time and time and time again. I don't think I have ever like tutored somebody. I don't think I've ever talked to somebody in chat that was one of those people that just constantly talked about like the money side of it and how much money they wanted to make, and they had all these crazy goals on how much money they could make trading. They never stick to it. They never become consistent. You just can't think like that. You can't think about the dollars. You're just never going to make it work. You got to think about trading like it's a game. It's a game that you're trying to break. It's a puzzle. The dollars are just the bonus you get from beating the puzzle. Yeah, almost nobody that has that mindset is going to make it in trading, unfortunately. And that's just a sad reality. You got to build the mindset before you can see the dollars. I mean, just an absolutely beautiful retest. Just an absolutely beautiful retest of that prior low. Oh, it's not a generational problem, Rito. That's a problem with everybody. That's just a trader problem. Well, SK, why does my YouTube keep crashing? I think leaving the chat GPT bot on my browser is crashing my browser. If you're looking at account sizes based on payouts, then obviously the higher the account size, the more you would think about it, the more you would be able to reasonably pay out, because you're trading higher size. But that's like the easiest way to think about it. It's not always going to be the case. It's all a sizing thing. You got to make sure you're properly trading the size that that account allows. Yeah, Ryder. I think they still have their like 15 minutes after the close, I believe, but I'm not sure. I'm not good with holiday stuff, like the holiday times. I've been trading for years, and I forgot today was a half day. Like I don't remember this holiday shit. Yeah, each account has a different maximum withdrawal. Yeah, you just got to look into the Apex rules. I'm not Apex support, so I'm not going to sit here and answer Apex questions all day. You guys can look at their support documents. And that goes for every prop firm. That right there is what we call a zero drawdown trade. If you took that trade in the prior low, you pretty much instantly were in profit. They haven't given you a fantastic place to raise your stop. You could raise it to like these lows, like below this cluster here. But it's not the greatest. But yeah, this is one of the very easy ways to watch a day like today. You just keep marking out those like point of origins. You broke out, point of origin, broke out, point of origin. You just mark out those prior lows. And you're waiting to see if price wants to come back to retest them. And you finally had that retest right there at 22. Fantastic 30-minute trend as well. The lows are being protected. Damn near the highs are being protected as well, like bullishly. You're pretty much protecting the prior highs almost every time. Not exactly, but pretty close. More so a halfback. I can't help you, Ryder. I don't like giving people advice like that. You got to do what you feel is best. That's the problem with trading, right? We got to be able to make our own decisions at all times. It's not an indicator. I'm just manually drawing these. Tail extension trade, yeah. Yep. It's not the same levels that I've been marking out the entire day, but you do want to pay attention to a retest of this prior high. If it loses that prior high, you're probably going to retest that prior low again. But you kind of already retested it, and it bounced off of it, but you can still watch it. I really hope none of you guys are just constantly pressing the sell button today, because you are not enjoying today. You had one attempt to sell, and if you sold that pullback, I don't hold that against you. That was not a bad one. That was the strongest sell pressure the entire day. It was the first time we held below the 24. It was the first time we retested the 24 and then sold it. If you did sell that pullback, you really needed to be paying attention to that prior low that we had marked out. If you lost that prior low, you were looking really good. Unfortunately, you did not lose that prior low. So once you started bouncing out of that prior low, your trade was dead. At no other point today did you have a good sell. If you sold at any other point today, you were basically just trying to knife catch. Well, the opposite of knife catch, you know what I mean. You were trying to predict too much. You weren't being responsive, you were being predictive. It was like Neo dodging in the Matrix, yeah. Especially if you're a reversal trader like me, you need to know the pattern that is like your worst enemy, right? And this is your worst enemy. You do not reversal trade trends like this. When the day opens and you're already up 6 to 7 TPOs, you can't short stuff like that. It literally opened and shot up. And then the next session opened and shot up. And the next session opened and shot up. And so on and so forth. This is the power of the market profile. You can literally see it. I mean, it's the same as a 30-minute chart, but you can literally see it. The B session rips the A high. The C session rips the B high. The D session rips the C high. The E session rips the D high. Every single candle today has taken out the prior candle's high. That is not a market you want to short in. Now, if today went until 4 p.m. and we had plenty of time to reverse this and you had like a lot more sell pressure coming in, then obviously that would change. But we only have an hour left on the day. This is called one time framing, right? When every candle is protecting its one direction of its candle, then breaking the other direction, or extreme, I should say. It's protecting the low extreme, breaking the high extreme every time. It's called one time framing. And if you guys struggle to see this, I have a free indicator that I built a while ago when I was helping you guys understand this concept. If you look up, I think it's called halfback and one time framing. If you look that up on TradingView, it's a completely free indicator. I built this like a year ago because people were struggling to understand that concept. And what it does is it just marks out a blue arrow. If you're one time framing bullishly, it marks out a orange arrow if you're one time framing bearishly, right? Well, not exactly one time framing until you have a couple of those. It's really just marking out when you're breaking the high without testing the low and so on and so forth. So when you see these back to back, that's when you're one time framing. And then the line, that's the halfback indicator. It's marking the half of the candle, the halfway back, the midpoint. So if you were to retrace and still protect that midpoint as we just did, it's still bullish, right? Yeah, completely free. Just look up like halfback and it should come back. It should come up as like Oasis Trading, something like that. Let's do our Athena update. Let's see what Athena thinks of the trend. Yeah, it's basically just saying what it said earlier. Still bullish, but it's weakening here. Kind of pulling back into the EMA support. Do you mean on the halfback one? Or sorry, the one time frame one frog? It's always used on a 30-minute. That concept is a market profile concept. And market profile is a 30-minute indicator. I don't know if Addis has the settings, but I think Tradevate does. Some platforms have settings for one time framing and like the halfbacks. I don't think. I don't think Addis has it. It has sub periods. And I don't think Addis has it. I think Tradevate does. I don't know about NT. I think TradingView. How do you split the whole thing again? All right, that was not what I wanted. I think you have to go into the settings. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, midpoint. So TradingView can do the midpoint. I'm not seeing where it highlights it though. It might be a different color or something. Not sure. Okay, here's a pullback into the prior high. Not the strongest level. But if you do start to lose this, it looks pretty weak back down to 22. Just another rollover in momentum here, not really a rollover top. Oh, it's a good idea, Solo. Yeah, so you're kind of like, it's not exactly a halfback, but you kind of rigged it to be one. So what did you do? You did the highest indicator, and then you changed the source to high-low close. Or sorry, high-low 2. Gotcha. Yeah, this weekend I'm going to probably mess with this chart here. This chart's just still really ugly. I need to find a better way to clean this chart up. You have a poor high here, it needs to go up a couple more points, which it probably will. It's been doing that all day. I will leave my stream on for the rest of the day. We only have an hour left, but I do have to take a call, so I'm going to take a like 5 to 10 minute break. I will leave my stream on. I'll be right back in like 5 or 10 minutes. Oh, my YouTube crashed again. Let me see. I think the stream is still good. All right, sorry guys. Did I miss any questions? Let's see here. Limitless. No, I couldn't help you, man. I've never written code in Addis. I only have Python and Pine script experience, and at that, I'm not really a insanely experienced coder. Would I say that Momo, pivots, and trail are the most important indicators? Yeah, the Momo and the OTS are, they're always on my charts, right? Like they are a very big part of my system. I made them for a reason. A little bit of consistent sell pressure here. Decent amount of delta for once. If you lose this 27 level, keep it on that prior low at 22. This is a Fed statements. There's some Fed statements coming out. Hey Cleveland, it's the if you follow my Twitter at the bottom and you go to my list, there is a news list on there. And you can just follow the same exact list that I use. If you want it to like automatically update, you have to have Twitter or whatever it's called, X Pro or Twitter Blue, whatever it's called now. You have to have like the paid version, like the $8 a month thing. And then you can use like the pro side. If you don't have that, you can just put it on like a news feed or like a timeline. And then you have to like refresh it manually, unfortunately. Okay, finally, some sustained sell pressure here, putting in a lower low and a lower high. We're losing that prior high here. Could be like a rollover top on the higher time frames forming here, probably like a 5-minute. What's the 5-minute look like here? Kind of, yeah. So you could say like that's the prior high. This is the failed breakout. So then if we pull back a little bit and then we bounce into a lower high, that would be a 5-minute rollover top. Kind of more like a head and shoulders. The big difference between a head and shoulders and a rollover top, they're pretty much the same. But the difference is like the amount of time that it takes to put in those 3 different highs. The rollover top is much more consolidated. They kind of happen back to back to back. The head and shoulders is more of like an elongated pattern. It kind of takes its time to form. But market structure wise, they're nearly identical. It's just the time in between the market structure. Like I said, the rollover top, you want it to be like an ABC, boom, boom, boom. You want them to happen back to back to back. Head and shoulders can kind of take its time and chop out a little bit. Yeah, Cleveland. So what I do for like Trump, because he tweets on Truth, there's like accounts on my list that basically just send over his messages. Like if he posts on Truth, it will just post it on my timeline. And by the way, Limitless, I'm not sure if you're still here. Have you tried using an AI program to help you write that? They're not fantastic at coding right now, but they're pretty good at helping you if you know the basics. Like if you know how to fix it, if you know how to find the problems and fix it, it's pretty good. So I'd recommend trying like there's a bunch of different like chat GPT programs. You could try Grok, you could try ChatGPT, you could try Google's. They have ones that are like specifically made for coding. I think the version on chat that is for coding is, let me see here. The O4 Mini High, I believe it is. O4 Mini High is the coding one. And 4.1, I believe, is coding as well. Yeah, Cloud, I heard you guys talking about Cloud for coding as well. I haven't tried that myself. Who runs Cloud? What company is that? Yeah, it was doing a really good job. My I was using my Athena one for Python coding because I needed help coding a Python script to pull my videos off YouTube, transcribe them, and then send them back. And it was doing a really good job coding that. Only needed a few minor fixes here and there. So now I have two scripts, one that pulls my most recent live stream and does that, and then one where I can like input the video, like whatever video I want, and it will transcribe it. And I'm using that to pull my videos off my playbook and my different playlist, transcribe them, create teaching modules, not only for the Discord but also for the Athena bot. So if you guys didn't see those, I put a bunch of modules in the playbook last night, and those are not written by AI. That's like 99% me. I'm just using the AI to help structure it. But pretty much all of those words are my writing. I'm telling it what to write. I tried to let it write the teaching modules itself, but it wasn't very good. It got the general idea of the setups, but I had to like clarify everything. Anthropic made Cloud Gotcha. Is it free or is it like is it a paid subscription? I'm paying for mine right now. I'm paying for the GPT Plus. They have both versions. Gotcha. That's clever, Boat. I didn't think about that. So remember, guys, the market is closing in 30 minutes. This is pretty much the end of the day here. This is the last 30-minute candle. I don't know how much longer futures will be trading because half days are weird with futures. Let me do another test here. Let's see if it will see the poor high. It did find the poor high. It's kind of incorrectly saying the open is a poor low. What it's saying does make sense though. This is a system that some market profile traders use where the open has not been tested. So the open, think of the open as a poor level where a poor level needs to be retested. It's pretty much saying that the open has not been tested at all. So it's actually a good point that it makes. But I would not call that a poor low. It says the open ends bluntly with minimal excess. It also incorrectly calls this a capital B. I wouldn't call it a capital B. I'd say it's more of a P shape. I can understand why it's saying a capital B because we did have a pretty strong node down here, and there are a bunch of nodes. It's kind of sloppy, but I would say it's more of a P shape. Yeah, it's actually exactly referring to this node right here. The initial acceptance is what it's calling it. Tom, it's the one in the Discord. If you go to the Athena channel, it's the one that I'm making. I'm using ChatGPT's custom ones where you can build your own. Closes at 1:15. You mean for the futures? Or is that the whole close? I thought it was 1 p.m. Is that just the futures, or do you mean like the entire market? $1:15 for eligible options. So like the equities options. It's always like 15 minutes after the close. Yeah, I don't know how that works. If it's going to open back up at 6 p.m. and then close early because of the holiday. Like I said, I hate keeping track of these holidays. They're really annoying. I wish it just did the same thing on every holiday, which it doesn't. Like some holidays, it's actually closed where it doesn't open at all. Some holidays, the futures trade for a few hours, then they close. It's just ridiculous to keep track of. And I don't trade on the holidays anyway, so I don't really care. Thirty-minute lows still being protected here. You're not seeing that 5-minute rollover anymore. It's more of a vertical chop. Hey, Nitro, enjoy your holiday. Enjoy your break, man. We'll see you back on Monday. Core high needs 33 to 34. Well, that's the problem, Big, is they kind of are. And that's why it's so confusing, is like a lot of the times during the holidays they are open. But it's like, when are they open? They're trying to push for 24/7 markets, which I really do not like. I hope that push fails, but unfortunately, I think it's eventually going to succeed. I don't want the markets to turn into the crypto markets where you don't really know when the market's going to move. It kind of loses its time zones. I think the market has maintained its like same time zones for so long. Like we know the market's going to have action around like 9:30 to 11:30. It's always been like that. We sometimes know it's going to have action like power hour, right? Like we have certain times a day where we know there's going to be things happening. Now, I think even if they go 24/7 because of when the data comes out, like today, we know when the data is coming out, that the market will still kind of trade around those data points. But yeah, you just kind of lose that. You just lose that like schedule. I don't know. It becomes kind of random, and that's what I started hating that in crypto. I really started hating that I would stay up till like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. some days waiting on a big move to trade. And then I'd go to sleep, and of course it would happen. Like, no matter when I went to sleep, it seemed like I picked a bad time to go to sleep. And there was always something happening while I was sleeping. And it's just a pain in the ass. You just feel like you have to be constantly watching. Like, I couldn't go out to dinner. I'd go out to dinner, I'd go out to the movies, whatever, and I'd pull my phone out to check the crypto price because you never know when it's going to move. It was just so random. So yeah, I'm hoping the market doesn't become that. Rita, that's not really something I can just give you a straight answer on. You'd have to watch my market profile video. There's many different systems you can use market profile for. It's like asking me why I use candlesticks or why I use volume profile. Can't really answer that. Look at how good the liquidity is. It's actually insane. We are trading on all-time highs. Look at the level 1. The level 1 is loaded. Absolutely loaded. This is what I was talking about, like, what, a couple weeks ago when we were approaching all-time highs. I was talking about getting used to this pattern because you're going to see this, like, time and time and time again. This pattern is extremely common in all-time highs, where you're just slowly grinding up. It feels like the shorts just don't stand a chance. The profit taking kind of lures you into thinking the shorts have a chance, but they end up selling anyway, or sorry, they end up buying anyway. That is a ridiculous run today. Not that many points. We're only up like 40 points, which is not insane, but it's been a pretty damn clean 40 points. The only trail that has been consistently hit in only the second half of the day, the first half of the day was working beautifully, was the 24 EMA. Started failing towards like 11 o'clock. 30-minute lows still being protected, prior lows still being protected, pretty much any other system is being protected. EMAs are starting to get a little bit sloppy. Look at NASDAQ here. Not even remotely the same. Putting in lower highs as we're pushing on ES. So you've only had like one major prior low get retested. That was that 22. Yeah, man, enjoy your holiday if you're heading out. If you guys are in trades, you have 15 minutes. Don't forget the market's about to close. Also, don't forget tomorrow is fully closed. So today's a half day, tomorrow is closed. Be careful for this closing spike. Typically, closing spikes like to go against the prevailing trend, especially into holidays. Trading during holidays, kind of degenerate. I don't do it. I enjoy my holidays. I feel like if you can trade during holidays and treat it like a normal day, you have like a system for it, perfectly fine. But I think a lot of people just have that negative mentality of they feel like they have to be trading at all times. It's good to take some time off. NASDAQ kind of dragging you down here. Very different market structure. Lower highs, lower lows. Here's that prior low. We'll see if the closing spike continues here. Here's that imbalance. You typically have imbalances coming out 5 to 10 minutes before the close. That's stock data. Seems like a lot of my news people are on vacation. The news feed is really slow. Still getting that closing spike here. Like I said, closing spikes typically like to go against the trend if the trend has been extremely one directional the entire day. No, the Momo and OTS were back tested and live tested heavily on like every single market when we designed them. They're not specific for one market. At the time when we were creating them, we were mostly trading crypto, so they were more heavily tested on crypto than anything else, which was great at the time because crypto was 24/7, so we had a lot of testing that we could do. Yeah, pretty much all of my indicators are not dependent on the market. The market doesn't matter. The only exception is like Forex, because Forex sometimes doesn't have great volume data, because Forex volume is different, because Forex is like a globally traded asset. It is like a, I don't know how to explain it, but like Forex, if you're a Forex trader, you know what I mean. The volume is different on Forex. It's not the same as like volume on like on a contract. So that's like the only exception. But everything else, my indicators were heavily tested on. The Momo and OTS formulas have literally not changed in 7 years. So they are extremely tested. Their formulas have basically never been touched. I've changed like the visuals of the indicators, but their formulas have never been touched. OTS is short for Oasis Trading Suite. And the Momo is short for, I think the full name on TradingView is DBT Momo V.4, because at the time it was like version 4. And that was just a visual version. Like I said, we haven't changed the formula. And here's that closing spike. As I said, if the trend is extremely one directional, the closing spike typically likes to go against it, especially into holidays. Because if you think about what's happening, all of those people that were buying today, they do not want to hold their positions into a long weekend. So they are closing, they are selling, taking profit into a long weekend, into a holiday. And here's VWAP for the first time all day. You ask questions that can very easily be answered by yourself, man. Not to be rude, but a lot of your questions, they're self-explanatory. Like I would say, you asked me if the Momo is better than other momentum indicators. I literally designed it, so I would hope the answer is yes. Yeah, big pun. Forex uses tick volume data. Yeah, it's like a different volume data, exactly. Yeah. And the one weird thing about Forex is sometimes the like broker or like the ticker you're looking at is telling you the like global volume of that asset. It like combines it all together. And sometimes it will just show you the volume that they are transacting. Well, once again, Ren, that's another question that's pretty much self-explanatory. You guys are hitting me with a lot of those questions today. Well, just think about your question. You're asking me if you should use volume profile by itself or with other things. What am I doing? And I'm not trying to be rude to you guys. I'm trying to help you guys with the critical thinking side of trading, right? I'm actively using volume profile with like a million different things. So the answer to your question would be you can use it with other things. There's a confluence to it. Bouncing off VWAP here at 20. Keep an eye on that 24 EMA at 27 here. Market closes in 3 minutes. Options close 15 minutes after that for the index options like SPY and Qs. It gets tiresome explaining stuff that's evident. To a certain extent, yeah. Like if I have to explain the same thing over and over again. Like I said, it always comes down to how you guys ask questions. Like if it's a thought out question, if I can tell you guys actually put your time into trying to answer the question yourself, and if it's something that's like I need to cover on stream that helps a lot of people, I enjoy teaching. I've been doing this for years, right? But if I can tell that you guys just didn't even think about your question, then it's kind of like, okay, why are you asking that? But we don't need to get into it. We'll end the stream on a good note. It's not a big deal. It is not a big deal. Hey, Unleash, have a good weekend, man. We'll see you on Monday. That is a green tape. Look at that green. That VWAP gave you one last little scalp if you were ballsy enough to take that into the close. Gave you one last little trade before the holiday. Yeah, exactly. It's just growing pains. Like the stream gets bigger. You got to explain things to the new viewers that haven't heard me say it a million times. I understand it. It's all good. Unfortunate that we're about to close because that's a pretty damn good bear flag there. That's a damn good bear flag into that prior low. If the day was going on for like another few hours and we didn't have this closing action here, that would have been a pretty good long and a pretty good short, unfortunately. It was a good long at VWAP and a good short at the 24, but the closing action is just making it too crazy. Yeah, it's also a language barrier sometimes. Like I said, there's a lot of things that go into it, which I try to cut you guys as much slack as I possibly can. But you guys do have to understand that I can only answer the same question so many times before I start losing my mind. Alrighty, there's the close. We will call it there. I appreciate you guys being here. As always, enjoy your holiday. I know it's not a holiday for everybody. It's not a holiday for the Europeans, the Asians, but Americans, enjoy your holiday. Enjoy your day off if you're not an American, right? Day off from the markets tomorrow and day off from the rest of the day. You get another extra 3 hours. A little bit of a long weekend. I will be back on Monday I don't think I'll have any time for any videos this weekend, but possibly look out for it. I'm probably going to be working on the bot most of the time. So keep an eye on the Discord if you guys are not on vacation or something. I might post some more updates to the Athena bot. But yeah, I posted one of the biggest updates yesterday, so it's pretty good to go for now. But all right, guys, enjoy your holiday, enjoy your time off, enjoy your long weekend. I'll see you guys back on Monday, same time as always. If you guys haven't already, send me your receipts for June. I'm going to give you guys an extra week because I forgot to remind you guys. So if you want to enter in the June raffle for the Apex accounts, if you guys use code BREW on your Apex accounts, just send me those receipts. I'll get you entered in the raffle. Make sure to only send June. Don't send July. And I will get you guys added. If you guys want to check out Addis or the Discord, the links are down below. And here's my contact email if you guys need it. But all right, guys, once again, enjoy your long weekend. I'll see you guys back on Monday. Hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.